Hey guys, today question is, will Pokemon Scarlet and Violet be what Pokemon Z could have been? But just before we get into the video for today, if you are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there, please do consider subscribing, turning on that notifications. It really helps us out. But with that being said, let's get right on into the video for today. Alright, so we're discussing whether Pokemon Scarlet and Violet could be what Pokemon Z could have been, or Pokemon X and Y sequel of some sort. Like, of course, this game isn't strictly just a sequel of that region. I'm not going to say that it is, because it definitely isn't, but it's definitely connected to that region of Kalos. So that's the thing. Like that's a question that I think a lot of people are kind of asking, and I think I asked that question in my reaction video. Was it the first one, or maybe it was? I think it probably was the first one that I said, would this game have any references to Kalos and whatnot? Would that be in the post game or whatnot? What kind of aspects could we get from Kalos? Could this, in fact, game have a lot to do with Kalos or the post game of Kalos or something like that? Whatever. Could this be Pokemon Z in some kind of form where, you get some extra content, you get some answers to what kind of happened with Kalos, some of the other things that are in Kalos that kind of never got resolved, because there was a lot of stuff that didn't get resolved, and I know like a lot of people point to the same 4 or 5 things for the most part, really 1 or 2 things for the most part, like the desert area and like one of these characters that's apparently a ghost and this and that and whatnot. So I don't want to point to too many of these things because, again, like we all know what there is in Kalos. There's so much stuff that they could have done with the Pokemon Z. I think Zygarde really got the short end of the stick. Zygarde, though, in a sense, was a lot like Rayquaza, so it sort of did a lot of the same things in that sense. So, and I know that some people complain about game overload and whatnot as well, that there's too many games or that there's too many too quickly or whatnot. And certainly in this year or in the last couple of years, there's been a game coming out like every couple months and whatnot. That has been incredible in that regard, and has been quite a lot to sort of keep up with, but at least it's not boringly slow, I guess. But then again, it's one of those things where it's like, we would like to be able to play these games, but then again, like, it doesn't really take a long time, especially to play like some of these remake games and whatnot. And I don't think Arceus is a remake game per se exactly, but again, like, you can talk to almost anyone and be like, dude, have you finished Arceus? And most people, like 90% of people, would have finished Arceus by now. Or if not completely completed Arceus, basically had finished completing Arceus. At least gotten to Dialga or Palkia. So that's where that is. Like, again, it's one of those things. So anyway, how much potential is there for these new games to have something to do with Kalos? And that's such a hard question to answer because we just don't know a whole lot about these games. Yes, there are some quote-unquote leaks. How reliable some of these leaks are is questionable, of course. But then again, eventually the game will get, spoiled and whatnot, probably a week or 2 before the game is completely out. But, of course, we'll all be still playing it, and people will still be interested in it to really see these things because, hey, seeing it IRL in a sense or experiencing it in this way is actually a much better thing and whatnot, because at least then you can see, oh, this is actually legit and this is how you do this or this is how you do that or whatnot, whatever, this sort of thing. So it makes the game a whole lot easier to figure out and to get through and all of that sort of stuff. So it's just one of those things. So anyway, of course, again, I think Zygarde got a bit of love in the Alola region with all of the cells and whatnot that you had to sort of find Zygarde and make Zygarde and 100% Zygarde and 50% Zygarde and all that sort of stuff. And whatever it was, 10% Zygarde and that cells and all this stuff. That was kind of cool, but I kind of felt like that was a bit like, well, this is what kind of could be have been in Y or Z rather, sorry, or it could have been in this region instead. Like it maybe should have been part of this game, or maybe it could be part of this game. I don't know. But again, like, I don't know why specifically. Zygarde was never a big part of the story in the Alola region, so I don't really get why it was kind of like the whole Zygarde crystals and that was there. It was kind of a fun side quest, kind of, but that was kind of it. Like, like, yeah, and it was pretty hard to get all of them because all of them were in weird places and whatnot to get to. And I think like one or two of them were in like the post game, so you really had to complete the game to get them all, and whatnot. So yeah, but anyway, again, it's just one of those things that I kind of wish that they almost hadn't done that, because it would have been so much better if we had have not had that and then had it in this game, because then we could have had so much more, effect to say, well, it could be in this game or there could be something in this game. But we already know that it's been in a past game, so would they really repeat themselves? I don't think so. I doubt it. I feel like when they released Aurus and whatnot, they had the whole Delta episode in the end of that game. I kind of feel like maybe there'll be a Kalos episode, maybe in the post game. So just maybe, but I really doubt that there'll be a whole lot in the main game. I think there'll be so much in the main game as it is already that I doubt that they can probably fit that kind of thing in to this game, which is kind of sad and whatnot, because, hey, I know a lot of people, as I say, this is kind of why that I brought this up, is that a lot of people want to see something. They want to see some kind of conclusion to Kalos and to some of the questions that they had, or some kind of Pokemon Z version of some sort, or maybe whatever you want to call these remakes, Pokemon Z2, X2, whatever it is that they were going to do, to have that at the end. So that this is in the sort of a similar area to Kalos feels very much like, well, we're in that area, so why not have something, at least so that we can tie up those loose ends of that bow. And it has to be a clear choice from Nintendo and from the creators of Pokemon to go to this region. They wouldn't have gone to this region and been like, you know what? We just had a region that was close to here, but we won't do anything about it. Like, so surely there has to be at least something somewhere in this game that references Kalos, and there has to be something for those games. How much of it will be in these games is still very debatable, but at least I do feel like there at least will be something, and again, probably only post-game, because I do feel like they wouldn't want to remake the whole game. They wouldn't want to do too much in that region, either because it's on a much older system, and they probably couldn't transfer it over as well. Maybe they could, maybe I'm wrong, but I certainly don't think that the open world nature of this game would translate as well once you get into colors and you're having to go from route 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, whatever, etc. It's much more of a closed route system, whereas, these games are much more open world. If there's a small area perhaps that you can explore, maybe in a certain part of Kalos, maybe, I don't know. But what could that part be? I don't know. Maybe that's where you find the legendaries. Don't know. But again, I wouldn't guess that you would find the legendaries in the other region too much either, because again, the legendaries are usually just before the end of the game, and I do feel like they would leave most of that stuff to the post game. Now, how are we actually getting these legendaries and where they're actually appearing is also going to be a bit weird, because we can do things out of order essentially with these games. So you would have to figure out how you actually activate a lot of these different things with the story and whatnot, because I'm sure that a lot of different things happen in the story once you've gotten 2 gym badges, 3 gym badges, whatever it is, 5 gym badges, or 8 gym badges, or whatever they have, whatever it is. Maybe they've got a different system or whatever, but I'm assuming it's gym badges or whatever of some sort in these games. So again, there's got to be something that triggers certain story points and will activate these legendaries appearing in the game somewhere at some points. So, again, if those points are in Kalos, does that mean that this actually is part of a Kalos game? Don't really know. How far deep does it have to go to, represent something that has been in Kalos? Just being in Kalos for no real reason other than to catch legendaries or maybe get to the Elite Four or whatever. I don't think that that's nearly what fans are looking for from this. And again, since you can kind of do things out of story order for the most part, or in no particular order for the most part, or you can challenge these battle frontier things or battle gyms or whatever they are, or battle sites or whatever it is, in any order you choose, it will be much more difficult, to just stop people from going, you know what, I can go to the Elite Four straight away. Again, I kind of said that before, or I can, if I knew where the legendaries were, I could just go straight to where the legendaries are. So it would, again, have to depend, those legendary spawns would have to depend on you completing certain game actions, certain story points or whatnot, whatever. Otherwise, you could just get to them. And again, same with Kalos. If it is part of these games in some form or fashion, they have to be locked off, which means that, again, or whatever, it has to be part of a certain event or part of a certain part of the story that you have to unlock eventually at some point to actually gain access to them. You can't just go there, which is very weird for an open world game. So, yeah, that's really weird to think about when you've got these open world games. How do you, suppress certain areas or certain content or certain things from being accessed by the players when you've got such an open world game? So, yeah, I could just run to Alola or whatnot, and again, if I actually got there, what would be there? Or could I even go there? Again, so that's where I'm well, they've got to find that balance of yes, you can try to go there, but you can't do anything there until X, Y, or Z has happened. So that is where I think it's kind of at. But I would like to see them kind of do something for Kalos, or some kind of something eventually at some point. Like, I don't know. It's just so tough to figure out how they could do it. But you guys can let me know your thoughts on what they could do, how they could do it. Write them down there in the comments below. And I'll be sure to respond and chat to you guys down there in those comments, because I love interacting with you guys, talking about Pokemon, gaming, all the geeky things we love here on this channel. But yeah, if I don't see you down there in those comments, I'll see you in the next one.